Hello and welcome back to OmniFoot TV. This is your host Omar speaking. This is our second video of the day. It is a double upload because I'm trying to beat the ever merciless monster that is time ahead of Euro 2024 starting this Friday. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Group C. Serbia, Denmark, England, and Slovenia. I think we all know where this is going to go, for the most part. But I will start with Slovenia. This is going to be Slovenia's second ever Euro appearance, having been present at the 2000 version of the tournament. Benjamin Sesko and Jan Oblak make the more notable names of this team. And bearing in mind that this is their first international tournament in 14 years, their last being at the 2010 World Cup, where they were in a group alongside England, the USA, Algeria as well. England, USA, Algeria, and Slovenia. It's kind of good that I still remember that. So it's going to be a special one for Slovenia, bearing in mind that also Josip Ilicic, one of Atalanta's standout players during the COVID season in the Champions League, who had been struggling with bouts of depression, is now back in the starting setup for the national team. It's heartwarming, and I hope he does very well for his national team. I hope they manage to put on a show for their fans and to hopefully take home a good result, because personally, despite the fact that this is a milestone in Slovenian football history, I don't see them getting past this group. Ultimately, they're a side that is very pragmatic. They focus on maintaining their defense and hitting the teams that they face on the counter. Sesko was their top scorer with 5 goals in qualifying. I think they're capable of causing a couple of surprises. So I'm gonna do the logical thing, with all due respect to the Serbians, the Slovenians, and place them in fourth. I would wager that they would be able to top Serbia, but let's move to Serbia, who have the better team on paper with the likes of Vlajovic, Dusan Tadic, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, who plays for Al Hilal. These 3 players could easily disrupt any side if given the chance to create enough space and to take the opportunities that they make in front of goal. In regards to Serbia, though, they've had a very leaky defense, and I think that could not have been more emphatically clear than it was in the last World Cup, where they fumbled, I think it was a 3-0 lead against Cameroon in the group stage game that they played. Serbia are making their very first appearance as an independent nation in this tournament, which is perhaps the greatest feat by any national team in this group, because it's not just a milestone in terms of their history having, already been a sovereign state. They were a part of Yugoslavia, as far as I am concerned. Yes, just looking at the screen there to make sure that is correct, because I would much rather not get anything of that nature wrong. They were part of Yugoslavia who ended up being runners-up at 2 separate Euro tournaments in 1960 and in 1968. Personally, I say that the Serbian national team will finish in 3rd. I think it's going to be fairly even between Serbia and Slovenia, depending on which side is much more organized and which side actually reacts better to the results that they face. Now moving on to Denmark. Under Kasper Højlund, they've done quite well in Europe. He was their manager during Euro 2020, where we obviously had the horror show of Christian Eriksen's heart attack. They performed bravely in their Qualifiers. Kasper Højlund was, I think his name is Hulmand. I kind of forget how to pronounce their names. Rasmus Hulmand, excuse me. Their manager's name is Kasper Hulmand, and the player's name is Rasmus Højlund. Formalities that I much rather would not have messed up, but my apologies to the Danish fans watching. So, it's going to be very interesting for this Danish side. They always seem to do pretty well. They made it to semifinals last time around, and they shocked everyone. Personally, I do consider the Denmark our dark horses in this tournament again, bearing in mind that their maiden win in '92 took place with them having not even qualified for the tournament. They were just inserted. And there is a story behind that. So I would encourage anyone who didn't know that before watching to actually look it up and do some research. It's very, very, very interesting. Anyways, I predict that this Denmark side, armed with some very good talent, will in fact make it through this group by topping it. I think Christian Eriksen is going to play a key role, and that Højlund, dang, I keep messing this up, and that Højlund is going to be a force to be reckoned with in this group. In my humble opinion, they are the most organized and tactically much more superior to any team in this group. And we go to England. This has been a pretty short video, primarily because I just... England. My problem has always been with the English national team. I have always had a problem with the English national team. The surplus of talent at their disposal. The lack of managerial... The abundance of managerial ineptitude. Let's just put it that way. The abundance of managerial ineptitude, the lack of understanding, the lack of a tactical system, the lack of cohesion, and the lack of understanding of the very basics of the game. Gareth Southgate is leading England to another tournament with a squad that is incredibly stacked. They've not done well before the tournament. Their most recent loss against Iceland was their first loss at home in 72 years, I think. It was quite the number. And it was their first friendly loss in around 8. And to lose to Iceland, who are ranked so far below in the pecking order, according to the FIFA rankings, that I can't even remember which spot they were in. Granted that they lost out to Ukraine in the playoffs. I don't know, man. This England team, on paper, they look good. But as the legendary Brian Clough once said, and I have stated this once before, they looked very good on paper, but unfortunately the game was played on grass. England are going to score a lot of goals. All due respect to the opposition that they have in this group, but in my humble opinion, they will only make it through as a second-placed team. Now, to predict how the games are going to go in terms of score lines. And I'm well aware that I'm going to mess this up mathematically, so bear with me, because I'm not really good at this. Slovenia and Denmark is going to end in a 2-0 win, or a 2-1 win. I can't see Sesko not scoring in this one for Denmark. I've been making a lot of 2-1 predictions lately. Serbia and England. I'll give this to England with a 3-2 score. England are leaky at the back. Serbia are leaky at the back. This should be an entertaining affair, and according to my predictions thus far, the highest scoring game in the tournament. Slovenia and Serbia. I'm going to give this to Serbia. Or rather, I think I'm going to go for a 2-all draw. That should be very entertaining. Denmark versus England. This was the semi-final of the last Euros. I personally feel as though England are going to win it, but I think that the Danish could withstand them long enough to have a 2-2 draw secured. England versus Slovenia. This is going to be let's say a 3-1 win, a 1-0 win for England. I don't know why. I have a feeling that they could struggle here. And Denmark versus Serbia. A 2-0 win for the Danes. That's how these games are going to go. Now to count these up. Denmark have 3 points here. And they have another point there and another 3 points. So that's 7 points at the top. No one from any of the teams that I have predicted will top the group have won all 3 out of 3 so far. Which is interesting. And number 7 keeps popping up a lot. Anyways, the English. England beat Serbia, that's 3 points. Beat Slovenia, that's another 3 points. And they draw against Denmark. So that's 7 points as well. I think that it genuinely goes down to goal difference here. It does, actually. Wow. I like this. It's entertaining. Serbia. So the Serbians lose their first game and they lose their last game. So that's 0 points there. And there's a draw with Slovenia. It's 1 point there. And Slovenia as well with the same fate with 1 point. I think this is comprehensive enough. Personally, again, I would like to think that there will be an upset in this group, but it seems a little more ironclad than any one of us would like to admit. But these are my predictions for Group C. Please let me know what you think in the comments section below. Will England top this group? Will they finish second as I have predicted? Will the Danes continue their European form by doing as well as they did last time? Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. Thank you for tuning in once again. Also follow us. We are on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X, and here on YouTube. I've been Omar, you've been Swell, and I will see you in my next video.